Extended or second summer continues. Hey everyone, it's Wednesday evening and this is Weather for Weather Geeks. So we have some things to talk about in terms of a potentially evolving pattern or changing pattern as we go into next week. But in the meantime, the beat rolls on as we go through this work week here in eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. It's been warmer than the average all week. 84 degrees for the third consecutive day. We did a hat trick of 84s this week officially at the airport. Look at some of these numbers. 86 in New Philly. It was 87 down in Columbus earlier on this afternoon. Not records, but way above the average. 9 or 10 degrees above the average each of the last few days. To put this into some perspective, a high temperature of about 10 degrees above average in the middle of summer, say it was middle of July, that would be a high of 93. So yeah, it's warm, considering it is now mid-September and our average highs are in the lower and middle 70s. All right, quick look outside just before sunset on this Wednesday evening, and we're only a few days away from the equinox, and that means sunset will be lining up right along due east-west Route 224 in Canfield, Boardman, Poland area, of course, major thoroughfare in Mahoning County, and it's pretty much a due east-west thoroughfare, and a couple of times a year that sunset lines exactly up with 224 looking to the west. It's no fun driving west at this time of the year, just like it's no fun driving east in the morning hours at this time of the year with the sun in its position. So yeah, high temperatures today way above the average, not only locally, but in many places. Look at some of these readings. This does not look like a mid-September weather map. 91 in St. Louis today, 96 in Dallas. It was 90 in Atlanta this afternoon. It's been quiet of late, not only locally, but in most of the country and outside of the country in the Atlantic Basin. We're just past the peak of hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. That's around September 10th, September 11th. But still, this time of the year can be very, very busy, of course, with tropical storms and hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin, but it's been a fairly benign peak season, and right now we just have one storm on the board. That is Tropical Storm Gabrielle, which will not be a concern for the lower 48 states, much like several systems so far this hurricane season. This will recurve out to sea well east of the U.S., probably east of Bermuda as well, eventually becoming a hurricane probably at some point, but again, not a concern for the lower 48 states. And our only concern over the next 24 hours, really, in terms of weather, the possibility of a few patches of fog out there tomorrow morning. Watch for just some reductions in visibility here and there as Thursday gets underway. What a nice afternoon, though, with a good deal of sun and a light northerly breeze. Temperatures getting into the lower and middle 80s yet again. Now, we do have a cold front heading our way. It's going to come through with little fanfare early Friday morning. The only thing you'll notice with this front is there probably will be some cloudiness at the start of the day Friday, perhaps even some fog, but more so probably some stratus or low clouds for a time, particularly north of Interstate 80 as Friday gets underway, but Friday afternoon should be just fine. Looking good for Friday evening football, and then as we head into the weekend, warm front lifts in, and the brief and very kind of muted cool down that's coming on Friday will be replaced by unseasonable warmth once again for the weekend. This is going to be one of those Friday evenings for high school football this week in which it'll be kind of deceptive. It's going to be warm outside in the afternoon, but temperatures will cool quickly as we head towards sunset with dry air in place, fresh injection of cooler air in the wake of that front. We're going to go from highs around 80 to even 83 or 84 in our southern viewing area Friday afternoon to temperatures in the lower 70s at kickoff, lower 60s, upper 50s towards the end of our games Friday evening. So it may be shorts weather in the afternoon, but a lot of us will probably need a hoodie or light jacket before the evening is through, but no rain concerns for Friday. Now, of course, by now, we desperately need some rain. It's been very dry of late. There are some signs on some of our computer models that next week will offer some changes. This looks messy when we look at the jet stream view next week, but turn your attention towards this guy right here, this kind of dip in the jet stream right here. This is what's going to eventually probably be a cutoff low pressure system somewhere. Don't know exactly where at this point. There's a lot of model discrepancies as you would expect a week out, but somewhere across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, one of those places, this low is going to be meandering around, and depending on its exact track, it may be something that is an impetus for a few unsettled days next week. We will keep our fingers crossed, because of course we do need the rain. I mentioned some of our modeling is more gung-ho than others. Here's a look at the computer model spread for rainfall totals over the next week. Some of our lines start bending upwards here early in the week. The European, the current run anyway, is the purple line. It's one of the more enthusiastic models right now. The GFS suite of modeling, the blue and the red lines, not as impressive looking with rainfall totals next week, but even those models do have some rain heading our way. We've introduced some low-end rain chances into our forecast for Monday and Tuesday. I wouldn't be totally shocked if there was a shower before Sunday's through, even though our official forecast is dry right now. But passing shower or two, maybe Monday, Tuesday, perhaps depending on the track of that upper low that some of the modeling is showing. We may have higher rain chances to talk about starting Tuesday night or Wednesday of next week, and maybe taking us through the tail end of next week. So again, much more on that coming up as we get a little bit closer. We'll take any raindrops the atmosphere decides to offer us as we head towards astronomical fall, which begins at 2:19 p.m. coming up on Monday. In the meantime, that's it for me on this Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you right back here on Thursday.